Hey, good evening, family. What's happening? It's Joe checking in for the No Picks podcast.
What up, family? This is Ty.
And today we have a guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Rashane. I go by Rush. Happy to be here. Excited to discuss some things.
Mm,
And it's important to know this is my wife. So this
Oh,
is
for sure.
wifey here, y'all. You're meeting her, but she is a great conversationalist, has
no
great
DMs,
ideas.
no nothing
We
like
want
that.
to
Like
no
you gotta
DMs, no ask for the Instagram.
Yes, I know.
But she's going to join us for today's conversation, which should be a very interesting one.
yeah,
And Ty, you want to introduce the topic for the day, for the
yeah.
night?
So let's all right. So check it out. So my question, like, all right. So the topic is about the culture overall. Like, all right. So what do we think about like the state of black of the black culture, and is it going in a positive direction, a negative direction? Like, what are our thoughts? Right.
Mm,
So to start us off, I got a little story. Right. So my son, I have a son with an ex-wife of mine, right? And about maybe 2 weeks ago, we were at my ex-wife and I, and we're at a football game for my son, and it was at Huntington Park. So anybody from Philly, know Huntington Park area was about like would you say like like North Philly area? Would you say like North
It's
Philly?
Hunting Park. I
Huntington
mean,
Park.
North. Yeah, it's behind Temple Hospital. I'd call it still kind of north, but Hunting
So,
Park. Yeah.
so historically, that park has been just like a hellhole, right? Like it's like when we were kids, Joe. I don't know if you remember, like, bro, it was like every other month you would hear a story about like some kind of sexual assault, some woman walking through there and just being sexually assaulted. Like it was like legit, like
Yeah.
you should stay away from there. Like it was a bad place, right? I went, like I said, about 2 weeks ago, and it was really nice. It was a football field. It was like they had facilities to go to the bathroom. They had a basketball court in there. It was really really nice, right? And I haven't been there in a really long time. I haven't been there since college. It was like 15 years ago, right? So so anybody who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about, right? So this is what I saw, right? So while my son and his football team was playing against another football team, all of us black, right? And all the parents were there, in the bleachers, cheering on our kids and stuff like that. Like the cheerleader team there, everybody's black. No, there's no other ethnicity at all. They're all black people. And so they bring out the like during halftime they bring out pizzas. Like it was like 7 boxes of pizza. I mean, obviously I didn't get any pizza because I didn't know, like I don't know anything about what they were doing or whatever. So they bring out pizza. They give it to the cheerleaders and they give it, and all the parents and stuff are eating the pizza, right? All of them in the bleachers. So when they finish eating the pizzas, they just threw all that shit on the floor, all of it. I mean, the paper plates, the sodas, the rest of the pizza that they didn't eat, the boxes of pizza. They just, bro, it was like a legit. They just do like a college dorm party and just like threw all their stuff around, and it was just like so. My ex and I don't even really like each other like that, mind you. Me and her looking at each other like, bro, what is going on? And her and I are both from the hood, so we both looking at each other like, bro, we're from this, but it's like, bro, we're adults now. You know what I mean? Like we can't just be
Right.
like throwing our stuff on the ground, whether it's Huntington Park or Cheltenham. Like that's not
Right.
Right.
cool.
Right.
It was like, yo,
Right.
when I tell you, it was like they like like all like as a group, like just kind of just like all threw it on the ground. It was no conversation to be had. It was so normal. It was so like they didn't give they didn't give one F, bro. Like it was this most disgusting thing. The little kids are throwing their stuff on the ground. The field was disgust. The area that we were in, all it was like this huge bleacher area. It was disgusting, bro. The parents, listen, they weren't even talking and communicating. They weren't. It wasn't like they were all like, "Hey, we're going to throw this on the ground and show the man a lesson or
They
something like
just
that."
all did
But
it.
they just did it, and it's like, yo, why would you do that? Your kids are playing on a football field. Your kids are cheerleading. Your kids use this facility, and it's like we don't care about our own. So it's like so. All right, so they throw us up on the ground, and it's the end of the game, and everybody's walking away, and we're looking at each other. We're like, So I'm looking at her. I'm like, yo, are they gonna clean this up? Because that was my first time ever being there. I never was there before, and I'm like, yo, are they
Mhm.
gonna like kind of clean this up? And she was like, no, I don't think so. They just trifling, and she's saying this in front of everybody while they're walking up, but nobody cared. And I'm sitting there like, who's gonna clean this up?
Right.
And everybody just left and took their own stuff. I have a soda. I had a soda in my pocket that my son was drinking, and I just had it in my pocket the whole time because I didn't see a trash can. That's
Hmm.
what you do.
Right.
It was just, bro. It was the most disgusting thing, bro. I'm like, yo, like we don't care about our own stuff, and then if it doesn't get cleaned up, right? If people pile trash on top of trash, those same people that did that are going to be complaining that the city don't care about their stuff.
Right.
Right. Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting.
It's funny. This one hits close to home because Rush and I have often talked about how dirty some people in Philly are,
Mm,
where you'll be at a red light behind a car and they'll just open their door, throw out a whole bag of McDonald's with all their stuff in it,
right, right,
a
right.
whole soda john, pour the ice
Yep,
out, throw it in the street, and just keep it moving. And that's something that we see regularly. It's not a one-time occurrence. It's not, but it's
Right.
like it's a weird Philly thing where people
mm,
just litter and they're so nonchalant about it and they just
right,
don't care. And the city's already hella dirty with litter all over it and lots of places in the city, but people just contribute to it. You know what I mean? So yeah, we talked about this, right, Rush? Like this whole littering
It's
problem
one of
in
my
Philly, man.
biggest pet peeves. We do talk about it often because it's something that I just can't wrap my head around, you know? And I think that's it's a really interesting way to start this conversation because I do think it's indicative of a larger problem.
right,
But we see it all the time. And of course, we see it more in our neighborhoods. I guess the neighborhoods that would be considered like the hood or not as well to do or high
right.
class, if that's what you want to
And
call it. But
the thing for me is we can't even blame it on being in the hood anymore because like
right,
gentrification is a thing, right? Like
it's
these
Right,
these
true.
these 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 white people with whatever kind of money they come back to the hood, buy these houses, make them nice, fix them up, put hundreds of thousands of dollars in it, and it
Hmm.
could be on the hoodest. Bro, you seen these houses? It'd be like a
Oh
nice,
yeah,
really nice ass house in the middle of a hood ass area,
right.
and they keep their stuff up, but the places around it are all messed up, dilapidated, all like drug dealers on the corner and all that. Them dudes still like, all right, okay, whatever, cool. They put their money into that crib, I guess, get their security alarm system popping, and they be like, all right, cool,
And that's
and they
it.
live their life. So it's like you can live in the hood in the inner city and not be disgusting about it, bro. Like you can take
Right.
pride in where you live.
right,
You don't have to live in a deluxe apartment in the sky in
right.
order to in order to care about like your neighborhood, bro. But like we as us as a group of people, bro, like we just every problem that we have, we blame. I bet you every problem that we have, we blame on a white man, right? And you not cleaning up on your block, leaving your block a piece of shit ain't the white man fault.
It wasn't slavery's fault. It wasn't
Wasn't
because
Right.
your ancestors were enslaved that you don't know how to throw your trash in the trash can. It wasn't because your ancestors were slaves that you're graffitiing your basketball courts that are freshly painted and tearing down the nets. It's not because of, you know what I mean? Or breaking glass bottles at the playground so that the little kids have to walk around broken glass at the park.
right.
It's like we just don't know how to take care of our community. It's like we
It's
don't
not that
care
we
about it.
don't. It's not that we don't know how to take care of our community. I really think it's the latter thing that you said. I think it's apathy. We just don't care. Like there's this very uh, pervasive dog eat dog, every man for themselves attitude that I have noticed. I see it in the litter all around our cities. I see it in the way people drive and disregard traffic rules on the street and just do whatever they please. I see it in the way they talk to each other. I see it in the way they blast their music. Um, it could be 7:30 in the morning. Like, I don't really want to hear about all your homies that died and all the drugs you take at 7:30 in
Mm,
the morning. Like, why do I have to be subjected to whatever your musical tastes or your personal issues? Like, I don't need to be a part of that. But there is this idea that people just have to deal with it. And I think that's why when you guys were um, looking at all of these people who just collectively, as if there was some like unspoken agreement, threw all
right,
their trash on the ground, you guys
Right,
had something to say about it. Nobody cared because it's
right.
like, you can judge me. I don't care.
right.
I
They don't.
don't understand where the apathy comes from, but that's what I believe it is. People are just very self-involved these days, which is weird because there's also a complete lack of self-awareness. I don't know how the two things fit together, but it's like
Yeah.
that seems to be a common theme.
You would never see this in Cheltenham. You would never see this in Abington. You would never see this in where I live. Like, bro, they don't do it. Like they like it's so like why mess up your own stuff? Like that's what I don't get. Like if you on 95
Yeah.
and you want to throw a soda can out on a highway or something like that, all right, whatever. That's still not cool, but whatever. Um, like your own stuff. They probably put hundreds of thousands of dollars into that Huntington Park field, and
They
y'all just
did.
going out there like it's just they like, oh well,
And it's
fuck,
nice, bro. It's
it's
so nice.
nice,
And I even think not Michael Vick, but there was another famous Eagles quarterback who was out there with the kids. They was tossing the football. Like I think the Eagles put some money into that park too, and
the
like to the
field the field is
organization.
actually called Vic Field, so
That
he
so it probably was.
Oh,
may
I'm
put some
tripping,
bread
yeah.
into
So
it,
yeah, and he was there, and he was like playing catch with the kids to
right,
like debut it. Like it looks really nice. And the
right,
thing is, we can have really nice things in our neighborhoods, but what does it say when we don't take care of them? We have
right.
nice things. We have beautiful. I've seen the soccer field, the football field. Bro. I used to have my birthday parties right next to the pool where the pavilion is at Hunting Park. I don't know if you know what I'm
right,
talking about, but it's like this little pavilion park
yeah,
right next to the
Yeah.
field. I used to
mm,
have birthday parties there growing up. The park never looked as beautiful as it did now. The pool was closed for years. Now they beautified it. They painted it. It looks cute now. They opened it this
it's nice,
past summer.
yeah,
So it's up there, but people don't care. And the people who do care, here's the thing about Philly too. You can't say nothing. You know why?
Oh
Because
my
if you say
gosh, you
something,
gotta be
you got
ready
to
to
be ready
fight.
to
you
fight
gotta be ready to fight, you
over
gotta be ready to
something
fight,
so
True.
stupid.
yeah,
You got to be ready for a nigga moment, and that's what I hate about sometimes things in Philly. Because it's like if somebody like it's between like the littering, you can't say nothing or people gonna fight. You can't say nothing about people's kids if their kids are acting crazy. You can't
right,
call their kids out. You can't tell them about their kids. If they're put a cone in a parking spot that's not theirs, you
yeah,
can't move the parking spot because then you're gonna come out and your shit gonna be keyed.
right,
Like
Right.
it's in Philly, this that thing where like if you say anything, if you don't mind your business,
right,
in your head you gotta think, do I want to fight right now? Do I
right,
want to get into a a verbal or physical altercation right now with somebody who doesn't care about their community or probably their lives or my life? You see what I'm saying? And that's why you just kind of go zip because it's like, no, it's not worth it. Like it's not worth it today. I didn't come out to fight over somebody throwing trash on the floor, and that's what
right,
sucks
Or I didn't come
because you
out to
can't say
die.
nothing or to
Because
die.
sometimes it's
Right.
not even like a physical altercation. Some people go straight for their peace nowadays. It's like
right.
you can't even have a regular fight. People just want to shoot you, and that's that.
But
With
I
the
don't know where
park
it
thing,
comes from though.
if so, basically they messed up the park. They threw all the trash on the park, right? So,
Right.
but they expect a white man to come clean it
To
up,
clean it up. Mm,
and if the white man doesn't clean it up, then the
They don't
white
care
man is
about y'all.
racist.
right.
Well,
Like that's like
people,
that's
that's
like
bullshit. That's
you mess
BS.
up your own stuff, expect a
Right.
white man to clean it up, and if they don't come clean it up, yo, if I own that park, say if that park was a private, I'd be like, bro, like say I just did it out the kindness of my heart, and I'm just like, yo, I come. And y'all, the park look like this. I'm like, bro, I'm not cleaning. I'm not putting no more bread into this. So whatever y'all do with this park is up to y'all.
Right.
Cool.
Mm,
Right.
That
And the
joint
thing
will
is,
go back to a shithole in no time, bro.
right, it will.
yeah.
It absolutely will. And
Guess who they gonna blame?
the way
Not themselves.
the government, it's
Circumstance.
if what do you think if a people don't care about their community and the outsiders can see that? What do you think they? Why do you think they should care about us in our community?
They
You know what
shouldn't.
I'm saying?
They
Like if you
shouldn't,
don't
bro.
care or respect your own community or yourself,
Why
why should
listen to
anyone
them
else
more
care
than
or
you do?
respect you or your community? It makes no
Right.
sense. Why?
You
Why
know what's
would I? You
crazy?
don't even care.
I'm about to say something crazy. When I saw that, bro, I'm like, yo, I am so glad I moved away from niggas, bro. Like when I saw
Yeah,
that, I was like,
I
yo,
don't think
I
that's
don't want to be
crazy.
living around niggas, bro. Like I am sorry, like
yeah,
that shit was disgusting. I'm
yeah.
I'm
It's
like, bro, like,
infuriating, bro.
It is.
and
It's
then and then
infuriating because
and
it's unnecessary.
you did not
Right,
have to do that shit, bro. You could have, which y'all could have took them paper plates, put it in them empty pizza boxes, and just took them somewhere else. But they
right.
were just, bro. When I tell you, those little kids were like throwing the pizzas that they like throwing them at each other, like throwing them with like frisbees. I'm like, and they just on the floor, and I'm sitting there like, okay, I'm sitting there waiting, chilling. Like, oh, somebody gonna come with a bag and clean this up, nigga. That game, they blew that whistle for the game to be over. They all just like, all right, well, let's
And
go.
that was it.
Everything
That's
was
crazy.
everything was just there, bro, on the ground.
That's
And there was somebody
crazy,
smoking
bro.
weed to the side. I try to ignore that, right? I'm like, bro, that's drawn. I'm like, that's out of control. But I'm like, all
I
right,
don't
well,
understand it.
I'm gonna try to ignore that. But the trash thing, bro, was just like, yo,
But this
it
is
was
it.
so
It's all connected though, bro. Because I can imagine like a block party or a function, and I could see adults, and I hate this. I hate this part. I hate this aspect of our community, and it's that you'll have adults or in a kids party. Adults will be drunk as hell,
right,
high as hell, rolling up around the kids. You can smell the weed.
right,
You
Hmm.
all trash is all over the floor. Music is
Mm.
clearly sexually explicit. All types of shit. You listening to WAP and listening to Sexy Red
Right.
and all that while the kids are around, and it's explicit. And for me, it's just like it all comes together, bro. It's the
Yeah.
music that we're listening to. It's the music that's poisoning us. It's the music that's influencing the adults. It's the adults that are showing kids this shit. It's the drugs around them. It's the drinking around them. It's the hypersexualization of our youth. It's
Right.
it's
Mhm.
it's like it's so much, bro. It's like a freaking I don't know. It's just so much crammed into one environment, and and the impact is huge because we see it. We see what it does to people in the hood on a day to day basis, and how they just don't care anymore, bro. They just don't care about their neighborhoods. It's the weirdest thing.
I don't think that a lot of those people who feel like there's nothing wrong with littering, there's nothing wrong with blasting overtly sexual music at a 2-year-old's birthday party. Everybody needs to be involved in their phone calls. I can
Right.
walk out the house looking however I want and nobody better say anything to me. I don't think that there is any true consideration for like tomorrow.
Right.
Everything is like live for today, live for this moment, get a bag, think about myself, my wants, my needs, and that's it. There's no long term planning, there's no reflection, self reflection, because the decisions you make today, you're going to have to deal with 5, 10 years from now. There's no consideration for a future that involves anything but like death and despair. It's become praiseworthy to have niggas in jail and to be a baby mama
Yeah.
or a baby daddy and to be ain't shit at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's become
Right.
normal for your children to not know how to conduct themselves in or out of school and then to get into trouble. But then instead of addressing the issue with your kids, you take it out on the teachers who you
Right.
believe are responsible
Right.
for raising your children because they spend the majority of their time at
Mm.
school. Like that attitude is far too common among too many people.
Right.
And
Right.
that's the only conclusion I can come to. Like, you don't care because you either don't believe you're going to make it to tomorrow or tomorrow's just not that important to you.
Right.
Living for today is what it is. Everybody
Right.
wants to live fast and die young, which
Let me.
is
Yeah.
dumb because they're also having so many kids and then just leaving them to fend for themselves.
Right. 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 Yeah. So I mean, all right. So the question about like is I think it's going downhill. Like I got a story. I don't want to keep telling stories, but I got one more story. I'll make it quick though. So all right. So I was raised by my grandma. Right. My mom and dad didn't raise me, but for a while I did live with my mom. But my mom had, let's say, substance abuse problems. Right. Um, she was part of that generation that that did that thing. So so we were living in South Philly. My brothers, my mom, and I, and she there would be times where she would be gone for a couple of days at a time. I was like a kid, like 7, 8, right? But I was like the oldest in the house at that time, and we kind of just did whatever we wanted. Ate Skittles all day, you know what I mean? Ate all the food from the food stamps that she used to go buy, whatever. And there was this local store that I used to go to all the time. I knew the guy. He knew us. He knew our family and stuff like that. And I went in there. We didn't have any money. She wasn't there at the time, and I was hungry.
Mm.
Go to the store, steal some bags of wrap snacks. I remember. I never forget. I took like 7 bags of chips and ran out. He didn't even chase me.
Oh my
Right? He was like, "I'll
gosh.
see you later, bro." Like he probably like, "Bro, I'll see you later." Like so. So I come home. I'm like, "Yo, like my mom come back that day, and she see me eating the chips. She's like, yo, where you get the money for the chips?" And I'm like, I stole them. I'm like, fuck. Like, what do you care? I'm looking at her like, bro, you haven't even been here for like 2 days. Like, what do you even care for? Like, so I'm sitting here
Right.
like eating the chips, and she like, man, like she like, yo, let's go. And I'm like, go where? She like, yo, put your sneakers on, let's go. So we walk to the store, and she talks to me. She's like, listen, she's like, I forget. He was like some like Middle Eastern dude, right? And she's like, listen, like, you have something to say to this man? And I was like, well, I'm sorry, for taking the chips. And he was just like, don't do it again, man. Don't. She like, listen, we ain't got no money right now. Friday come, I'll come, I'll pay you for the chips. I'm so like, she's like apologizing for me. It made me apologize. And mind you, this is somebody that used to be going for days at a time. This is somebody who really didn't take care of me like at all. But she had the presence of mind enough to know, like, I can't have this kid thinking that this is cool. Do you
Right.
think that's a common trait today? What do you think happened during the looting, when people were when 16-year-old kids were coming home with like 4 or 5 pairs of Jordans? Do you think their moms told them, "Hey, like you got to take that back"?
I think some of them did. But the question I think that is more important to me is, were they able to enforce it? The moms that did, and then the kids were like, "Man, I'm not taking shit back." I don't
And that's
believe that every one of these kids who decided to participate in the looting because they saw the opportunity were raised to believe that that type of behavior is okay.
right.
I think that some of them probably saw an opening and realized that there were certain things that they had been deprived of or hadn't been able to have for whatever reason, and decided to take advantage of the situation of their own volition. I'm not saying that's all of the kids who participated, but I believe there were at least a few of them, right?
But someone
Because
in their
even the
family could
best,
have been like, "That's wrong. Take this
I
back."
agree. No, what I'm saying is, even if someone in their family did do that, was that person able to enforce telling them to do it? Did that person have enough of an influence on them to make it effective? If I tell somebody who doesn't respect me to go do something, are they going to do it? Especially if I can't
Like,
enforce
nah,
it? Not necessarily. So I feel
right.
like it's a larger question. Like, I think
Well,
that's part of a larger question.
it is, and it's always difficult when you start with the kids because we know
Yeah.
that they've been raised by adults. So for me, like, yeah, we can point at the kids and be like, this behavior is BS, but I'm always thinking like, what? How were they raised? Who raised them? How were they raised? Who do they fear? Who do they respect?
Who do
You
they
know, who
fear?
can
Who
they
do
be
they respect?
reprimanded by, and it'll actually have an impact? Who, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and you look at their parents and you're like, well, it was babies who had babies.
Yeah,
These are teenage, early 20 mom and dads, very young age. Grandma probably raised some of them. Single parent household, likely, given that
right,
80% of black households are have a single parent now, which is ridiculous,
right.
which is a ridiculous statistic. You know, so many of
It
our
is.
kids are raised in single parent households. So I have to look back and think, what was your upbringing like, bro? Like,
Right.
where was your dad?
Right.
You know, I want
Right.
to ask that too. Like, where was your father? Was your father there? Where is he at? Did he care about this?
Hmm.
Did he condone or endorse this behavior? Like, every time we talk about the kids, I'm like, yeah, I get it. The kids can do things, but I'm like, who raised them? Because
Right.
that's where it's at. The kids are going to be the future, but like, who raised them? Who raised these kids, bro? Who are out there looting and doing these crazy things? Who are out there playing the knockout game? Who are out there shooting and killing each other?
Right.
Who are out there throwing shit all over the floor? Like, who raised these kids, bro? Who
It's
raised
getting
them? And
worse.
what happened to the adults, bro? Like, what happened? Like, I try to look back and think, like, historically, like, where can we trace it back to? Did the fall apart happen, you know, in the 80s with the crack epidemic? Did the fall apart happen after the 19 after 1965 and the Civil Rights Movement Act was signed into law with Dr. King and all everybody during that time? Like, when exactly did things really start to break down? That our family structure just really broke down and our kids suffered as a result. Like, that's where I try to look back and pinpoint because this is decades in the making, bro. Where
Right.
we are
I
now,
think it's
this
more
is the
than decades.
culmination of like years of conditioning or of just like this all happened over a span of decades, and this is what we're seeing now. Everything is this is the result of it now.
Right. I
We're
don't see it
seeing
getting
it now.
better.
But
It's getting worse. Like, I don't see it getting better, bro. Like,
here's my question though for you, Tyrese, because you were talking about your mom making you accountable for stealing those chips from the store. What is it that made you, or compelled you, I guess, to do what your mother told you to do? Because you could have easily refused.
yeah.
What was
Um,
in place, or what like structure was in place, or what feelings did you have that made you go along with what she was telling you to
I guess
do?
I knew it was wrong. I just knew it was wrong anyway. Like, I just was like, yo, like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a neighborhood store. I used to go there every time I got 50 cent. I went there. I bought like a Milky Way. You know what I mean? Like, so it was like I just knew I was gonna have to see this dude again anyway. You know what I mean? And
Right.
and it was no, I just knew it was wrong. I'm like, yo, I went in there and just took it. He didn't. You know what I mean? It was wrong. You know, and I knew it was wrong. And have her to be like, I mean, I would try to avoid the store as much as I could, but there was only so much avoiding that I could do. You know, sooner or later she was gonna have me walk in there with her, and then I was gonna be sitting there like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so I think just for me, I knew it was wrong, and I was like I said, I was like 7. I just was like,
Mm,
yo, like, all right, like, and I just kind of just took my medicine. I knew I was gonna have to get it sooner or later, so I just was like, all right,
Right.
well, I'll use my mom as like a little buffer or whatever, and she kind of was like, yo, like,
Mhm.
I don't want you doing that. I don't. And this is my mom. My mom was a legit crackhead, like a legit crackhead. Like, I'm not no like, you know, functioning. No, no, no. Like, I'm a quitting my job. I'm a straight up just waiting the welfare line crackhead. Like, and when we get our food
Yeah.
stamps, I'm going. I'll see y'all niggas next week. She would pack up the house. She would pack up the house full of food, right? But what do kids do when they're in the house by themselves with a bunch of food?
they just eat.
You just
Out
eat.
of boredom.
You just eat.
Yeah,
Fucking eating all day. We
that's
eating
it.
all day. We by Wednesday. We get it Monday. By Wednesday, we ain't got no food in the crib. We
Right.
because we
You
ate
just eat.
everything.
Yeah, that's facts. Especially if you eat when you bored, when we did when we was
Oh
youngins, you just
yeah.
eat.
Yeah,
Let's definitely go through that.
Shit. It-
and
it-
just the,
I'm
the
just.
the quality of people, man. I just think it's different. Like okay, so this is my thing. Like so my mom did
Mhm.
her dirt right, but she wasn't out in the open with it, right? She was like, yo, like at least she would do it in the privacy of her own crib. She had have different niggas in the crib and all that, but if she would be like, I'm gonna do this in the privacy of my own crib, right? But like now, there's no because there was a level of shame, right? She didn't want people to know
Mm,
that she was a crackhead and
right.
banging all these dudes and doing whatever else she was doing, right? She didn't want people to know that. Now there's no shame.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, all right, well, you can't judge me, nigga. I do what I want. Like what's the Cartman John?
Right.
Whatever. I do what
Yeah.
I want. Like,
Yeah.
like now,
Yeah.
now,
And that's
now
what it is now.
that's the attitude with
That's
everybody.
true.
That's and everybody's
That's
like,
what it
well,
is
whatever. I do
now.
what I want. Well, I'll throw this whole. I'll buy this pizza, throw this shit right on the ground. I do what I want. And it's just like,
Right.
bro, and that's
Ain't
just our
nobody
that's
tell
our
me
culture. You
nothing.
can't tell nobody nothing.
I know, bro.
Right.
Shane, remember that time we was at Rainbows and you was getting some stuff at the Rainbows, and that
I
lady
already
was
know what
there
you're
with
talking
her,
about.
was it three kids?
Yes.
And I
Running
guess
them.
I don't. Oh my! And bro,
She
if
was
we were
cussing
at
them
we were at
out.
the Rainbows. She was cussing at them loud as hell. We're out in
Clothing store?
public. It was a Rainbows. It was like a woman's clothing
Oh,
store, but
clothing store.
a
Something.
woman went in there, an older woman. She's maybe like mid early 40s, but she probably looked older than that because she was kind of overweight and looked unhealthy.
Stressed
Just
out,
big,
probably.
stressed out. But she's yelling at these kids, "What the f y'all doing? Y'all better not be effing around!" And the kids are running around, going through the lanes, loud, going through stuff. The baby fell down a couple times, was crying,
Oh
and
God.
she's like yelling, cussing at them, like cut vulgar, like cussing at them
Hmm.
and parenting them from afar. And she could barely even walk that fast because her feet
Right.
were hurting that day. I wonder why. Maybe all the weight. I don't know. But these are like these are our these are, this is what we see, bro. When we go to Walmart,
Right.
we always ask ourselves, what are we gonna see today? Like when you go into Walmart, bro, bonnets,
Bonnets.
sloppy, PJs, nasty, and I'm like, yo, people just don't give a up. They don't care, bro. They don't care about how they look, how
Right.
the world is perceiving them. They go
Right.
out looking crazy as hell at Walmart or in public in general. Like this is the culture, bro. This is acceptable. If I see another fucking bonnet on a little girl walking through the hood again, I'm like, why are you outside in your bonnet? Why?
Like a massive bonnet too.
A massive one with
Why is
different
it so
patterns.
big?
Now it's like a accent now. Now it's like a
It
fashion
is.
accessory.
That's
I
crazy.
saw a woman walking down the street last week with a bright red Supreme bonnet on.
Oh my gosh.
It's trendy now. It's on trend now.
It's trash, man. I hate it. I hate it. People are recording videos in bonnets now, and I'm just like, how? Going on live, like going on Kendra G show, or going on when Kevin Shammer's rest in peace, when he had his show, calling in with bonnets on, and he's just like, there's like thousands of
Yes.
people looking at you right now, right? And he would ask them,
He'd be
he'd
like,
be like,
okay.
why you didn't take the time to get yourself ready to be on camera so that
No,
thousands of people could see you just
no.
don't care anymore. And that's the thing, bro. We as a people collectively, I'm seeing that the we don't care anymore as much. Not everybody, but
Yeah.
like a lot of us just don't,
I think the
especially in the
majority. I
air.
think the majority are kind of just like it is what it is. Like I think. I
I
I
think
feel
don't
like
think it's the majority, but there's
yeah,
definitely a large concentration in
mm,
cities like
yeah, in the
Philadelphia of people
cities,
who carry themselves that way. Like, I have this theory that culturally we go from one extreme to another, like a pendulum.
mm,
And I think that this is like an attempt to overcorrect some of the maybe more stringent and a little bit too um, restrictive ideals of the past. And I think people have taken it too far. I think that there was a time when people really were just looking for the ability to live their lives as they saw fit. Granted, with some semblance of like personal responsibility and feeling like as a public or as a citizen participating in public life, you had a responsibility to society as a whole. I don't think that exists anymore,
right.
because of social media,
no,
of
Mm,
course, because now people put their entire lives on camera for everybody to see. But then they won't even allow you to say something about the content that they're broadcasting for people to judge. If you have the nerve or the
right,
audacity to say something about what they do, It's a problem,
Right.
which is crazy to
Right.
me because you cannot have it both ways. If
Right.
you want people to be so involved in your lives that you've decided that you've got to post every single second of your day, and the way you conduct your life is a way that not everybody is going to subscribe to or be comfortable with, and people have something to say about it, then you have the nerve to be upset? What are you
Yeah.
doing? What's the point?
Yeah.
But that seems to be like the consensus now. When I don't know where she was, I don't know what the event was, but Sukihana on the carpet, on
Mm-hmm.
the
At the
red carpet.
VMAs or the
Yeah.
BET Awards, one of
It's
them.
One
BT,
of
one
them,
of
I
them.
don't know because I don't watch
On the
them, but
BET,
all
yeah.
I know
Right.
is she's put out enough content that like that was light work. That was mild behavior as far as I'm
That's true.
concerned.
That's true. That's light for Suki.
But the fact that she had the nerve to be upset at someone coming to her respectfully, just like Monique tried to do with the bonnet situation and saying to her, like, the carpet is dirty, people's feet been on it all day.
Mm,
Why would you be down there? You cannot say anything to anybody without them getting up in arms. And I have to ask, why?
right.
Why do
Right.
you care so much? If you feel so comfortable to put your behavior out there in a public forum like this, why do you care so much? Clearly, you believe in what you're doing.
Right.
Clearly, you believe that what you think and what you say and how you dress has merit. So, why are you so
Right.
bothered with people having
Right.
something to say about it? This is what I don't understand. You cannot have a massive ego that's also fragile. It doesn't make any
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
I
People
don't I
people
don't
want the
get it.
praise when it's good, but they don't want the negatives when it's bad. You remember you gotta remember this, Joe. You remember there was something Kevin Samuels put out once. He was like talking to some woman, and she was like, we're out here raising our kids by ourselves. Dads aren't around, blah blah. He like basically like you pick them, whatever, right? But basically, he finished it up. I said he asked her like, okay, well, he was like, well, if it turns out well, you get the praise.
Hmm.
But if it turns out bad, you're right. But if it
You
turns
get the
out bad,
blame
you also get the credit. She's like, well, wait, why do I get the credit if it's bad? He was like, because you get
because
the
you
credit
did
if it's
it.
good. You get the credit if it's good. Like if you get it, but she
Right.
was fighting the notion like, no, 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 no. If my kid
Yeah.
turns out to be awesome, I want the credit. But if my kid turns out to be an axe murderer, serial killer, then society's fault. Basically,
Right.
what she was trying to get at, she was like, it ain't really my fault that if he turned out bad, but
Right.
it'd be my fault if he turned out good. If he
Right.
turns out to be Kevin Durant, then it's good. If he turns out to be, Ted Bundy, then
Right.
hey,
Or
where's the
Dama.
bad? Like,
Yeah. No, that's
crazy,
that's real. That's real. That I remember that quote and that's real. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. And like it's and the thing that's what kills me that there's no good way to say it, bro. Kevin was nailed to a cross for his tone and his delivery. Then you had someone like Monique try to talk to women about wearing bonnets out in public in a much softer tone. They
Mhm.
chewed her out for it. You got India Irie complaining about all the twerking and all the promiscuous stuff happening at the Essence Festival. That's under new management, and for the first time in ever, they were doing all this crazy stuff on stage, and you could see the people in the crowd were just uncomfortable, or just like, what are we watching right now? You know what I mean? And you can't criticize them. India Irie got chewed out for talking about that.
Yeah.
You know, there's this black therapist that just went online talking about issues that she had with women in general, just taking accountability for their issues during therapy sessions, that they often even just quit. They might go, but once they don't get validated, they quit and never go back to the counselor. You know what I mean? And then she got chewed out on social media. So no matter how you try to criticize any of our people, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how it comes out. It's gonna trigger them. It's gonna make them offended. It's gonna make them defensive. Like me and Rashane have talked about this. I'm like, I don't know how else to express it. Like, of course, you always want to be loving and respectful, but like, there's no way to just communicate these things. So I say we should just forget about them and leave some of these people in the past. But like, yo, deuces, like, y'all live y'all lives, but don't come for me. Don't ask for me for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, kind of just like kind of severing that tie with some people, with some pockets of our culture, because I'm
You
like,
have
y'all
to.
don't want to listen. Y'all are too toxic. Y'all don't want to listen. Y'all don't want to take accountability, and y'all make us look bad. So we have to create some distance between us now, because the world is looking at us as a collective. You know what I'm saying? Like, the
Right.
world is seeing all of us like this. They're judging all black folk based on the behaviors that are getting broadcasted in the mainstream, like the Sukihanas and the sexy reds and all that other stuff that's happening, and the niggas with their pants sagging and all that, which I
Oh my
still hate.
gosh.
Grown ass
Yeah,
men are
it's
still walking around with
obnoxious.
their pants sagging. I hate it, bro. It has to die, bro. It's been happening since
right,
the 80s. Like, when are we gonna let that stupid ass fashion trend just die? Like, some shit just needs to just be done with. But we just don't want to let it go.
right,
So
right,
I
right.
don't know, bro.
I think our people have too much of a connection to suffering when it comes to stuff like that. I feel like the reason so many people had issues with Kevin Samuels, for example, is because most of the people who thought he was problematic didn't really listen to all of his content. So they didn't really know what his whole message was. They focused on like the little tidbits, the talking points, the really
Mhm.
inflammatory bits. And as someone who initially took issue with his tone, I can say it's because some of the things he said triggered me. If you don't like the feeling of being called out and having to face certain facts, and you lack the ability to be mature enough to like sit with it and deal with it, which you eventually have to do if you want to move forward, then of course you're going to make him the scapegoat as opposed to listening to what's really being said. Because now it's funny, we were talking about Ebony K, was it? And how she was saying a lot of things that sounded a lot like his old
Right.
talking points.
Right.
Yeah.
And people were still upset with her, despite the fact that she was saying it from an older woman's perspective, talking to younger women, trying to help them to avoid the same pitfalls that Kevin Samuels was trying to help these women avoid. And it's like the people that were upset with her were conflating her, saying, like, your dating market value is your value as a person. And she went so far as to make that distinction, and people were still upset. So it's like you're not upset because she's not being respectful or
Yeah.
Right.
considerate, because
Mhm.
she's not policing her own tone. You're
Right.
upset because you're triggered and because you don't want to deal with the triggers,
Yeah.
because you
Right.
have to sit with that stuff and really face your own part in the choices that you've made and hold yourself accountable if you intend to move forward. And a lot of people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
We are too comfortable in our dysfunction and in our pain.
But we can be comfortable because we've removed shame and we've removed accountability.
Yeah, but we removed it forcefully.
Mhm.
That's why it's okay. We removed it because we flat out refused to deal with it. And there are so many of these people who are like, you can't judge me. I'm just trying to live my life. I'm an
Mhm.
individual. And it's like, you might be an individual, but you are still a member of this society and this community.
Right.
What you do affects all of us. You don't exist in a vacuum, and Black people are not a monolith, but here you are pretending that you're not a spokesperson for all of us when
Yeah.
they look at you and they see all of us. That's not
Right.
fair.
Right.
So I
Right.
can't shame you. I can't hold you accountable. I can't tell you what my opinion is on your behavior. I'm just
Mhm.
supposed to
Right.
sit here and let you do it.
Right. Right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It is
That's
crazy.
crazy, bro. This is where we're at, bro. This is where we're at, and I don't know, I don't know, bro. What do you think has to happen,
I
bro?
mean, when you take shame away from, I think, any group of people, like you
Right.
get absolute chaos, because like then there's no rules, because then everybody can do whatever they want and just kind of throw their hands up in the air and be like, only God can judge me, nigga. Like you can't, like, it is what it is, and it's be like, you be like,
But
bro,
what is
like
the root of shame?
you
Because
got,
I have like a complicated relationship with shame.
mm-hmm,
I appreciate the purpose it serves, but I also appreciate that, like anything else, when you take it to the extreme, it can be toxic. So, what is the root of shame that we're discussing here that we need in order to bring Black culture, modern Black culture, back to a more balanced place? Because I don't
I'll settle
disagree,
for
but I'm
just not
just,
embarrassing ourselves in public. Like I was like, I'm not expecting everybody to go to Harvard. I'm not expecting everybody to strive to be the next Barack Obama. But like,
Right.
Mhm.
I'll take a small, I'll take a group of people that's just like, hey, you know what, bro? Like, we don't have to like show the absolute worst of ourselves in public for everybody to see. Now, if you want to like do crazy stuff, you want to throw pizza on your walls at home, knock your effing self
that's your
out, bro.
business,
That's your
right?
business.
Right.
But like bringing that outside, being ratchet outside for everybody to see, and if a white person points it out, they're racist.
Right.
But they're just going by what they see.
Right.
Like, you're ratchet,
True.
and it is what it is. Like, and like I've had this conversation before with other black women, right? So it's like I'm like, yo, like bro, like what's like if I had this conversation before, right? So the argument was like, I'm like, bro, like why do we act like this? And the person I was talking to, like female, she's like, well, white people act like that too. You know what I mean? They got reality TV shows too. I'm like, the difference between the two groups though is that like the larger, like outside of the people on those reality shows for our people, the people who support that and who like go hard for that, black people in general, we support that shit. The white people be like, yo, them motherfuckers is crazy.
And they
When
make
white
a
people talk about the
distinction.
Kardashians, they be like,
Right.
yo, them motherfuckers is crazy. When white people talk about I don't know, whoever, insert any random white person, you know what I mean? The people on Laguna Beach and in Jersey Shore and all of them,
Jersey Shore.
other white
Yeah.
people be like, yo, them white people crazy. For us, we think that shit is something to strive to. We think it's a goal to achieve. We want to be on We want to be on Bad Girls Club. We want to be on
Hip hop,
like
loving
Love
hip
and Hip Hop.
hop,
We want to be
and
on any insert
basketball
any
wives, and
like we want to be on Blue Girls Club, right? Like we want to
that's a
like
show.
it's a goal. Yeah, like it was like a show for
Oh shit!
Blueface trying to find his girl or whatever. He found
What?
for Shane Rock.
Oh my
That's
god!
how he ended up linking up with her. But it's
Should
like
have known it
the
started
difference
with the
between they
show.
both groups have ratchet shows, but the white people in general think those white people are trashy. Our people think those people are awesome.
Goals,
That's
goals.
Mm,
the difference between the two. They're both ratchet, but one group of people are like, I don't want to be like them. The other group is like, we want to be like them.
They embrace it.
right.
You
So
embrace it.
I really
Yeah.
don't think there's any coming back from it. And social media just makes it worse.
I think there is. I feel like the
Every generation
pendulum is
gets worse,
swinging
bro.
in the other
Next
direction.
generation is going to be more fit.
Worse.
It's going to be worse, bro. Like I, my personal opinion, get the people that you're close to and elevate yourself. Us as a culture, I think we are where we're going to be. Even if you give us reparations, we're gonna blow that fucking money
Oh
as
Lord, no.
fast as you. As
Reparations
it's
is
gonna
not
make
going
your
to fix
goddamn head spin.
anything.
Gucci belts, Louis slides,
Give
Oh God.
every black person a
Supreme
hundred
do
grand. Give every black
rags.
person 200 grand. Everybody will have Hellcats, Chargers, Benzes. When that money runs out, they will be repoed.
Yeah, true.
And you want to stimulate the American economy? Let reparations happen. We will spend that shit fast as shit.
Yeah,
I
we will.
promise you.
It'll be gone in a heartbeat, man. That's sad. That's sad, bro. Man.
See, part of me really thinks though that we're at a turning point because, and maybe it's just because of my algorithm, I don't know, but a lot of the conversations that I am hearing happening now, and a lot of them I contribute to, like, I guess the manosphere or red pill. I believe that at least among some pockets of our people, there's like a turning of the tide because some of us really do want a future. Some of us really do want family. Some of us really do want to embrace and utilize our full potential. And I think that there are enough people in that vein who are now realizing that because there are so many people who are on the other page willing to publicize their bullshit, they might as well speak out about how they really feel. I'm hearing, for example, more women have conversations that I think started out in the manosphere. At least that's my interpretation. It's been my experience. And it's women talking to women, which I think is
Mhm.
something that we need. The fact that these conversations are happening more often, or at least that I'm seeing more of them,
Yeah.
makes me cautiously optimistic because I think people are getting sick of the bullshit. Like there's only so many times I want to hear a City Girl song on the radio or like a song that follows the City Girls blueprint.
Right.
You get tired of it eventually if you desire more for yourself, if you suspect that more is possible.
I
So
would say. Oh
part of
no,
me, sorry, I was
no.
going to say part of me feels like maybe you're right. Maybe things are not going to improve. But if they don't improve on a whole, I do think that there will be bits and pieces of our community that are sort of ready and willing to elevate. And I think that is going to mean leaving a lot of people behind.
I that I agree. I think there will be people who be like, hey, you know what? Let's do this. I think the vast majority won't because I think social media contributes to it. I think all right.
Hmm.
So I think we as a people are good at talking the talk.
Hmm.
You online. What
Agreed.
do you what's that buzzword you hear or the buzz phrase you hear online? Everybody talk about every time they talk about money and wealth, generational
Um,
wealth.
oh, yes.
Everybody talks about I want to build generational wealth, bruh. Like you're unemployed, you have three baby dads, and you're getting child support from each baby dad. That ain't you will never be close to getting generational wealth. That ain't in the cards for you. That's not happening for you. But we'll say it and as if it's like an attainable goal. It's not. First of all, generational wealth ain't an attainable goal for 99.9% of people ever who have ever been born in the history of the world. It's not attainable. But we talk about it. We say it is, and everybody say they get in the bag and all that. But like, I mean, I think we have a fondness for get rich quick culture,
Yeah,
and nobody really wants to grind and put the
agreed.
work in. Nobody wants to come at a job at entry level. for the benefits, and then get a promotion next year, and then get a promotion again, and then have like a longevity thing. Everybody just wants to skip the line and then just be automatically rich. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's like an attribute that's not unique to us, but like
Right.
because of course every culture has have those people, but like I think it's disproportionately black people. It's like there's too many of us who think that, hey, I'm my own boss. I don't need a job. I don't have to work. And
Mm.
that's not a realistic goal for 99.9% of people. Most people aren't going to be rappers. Most people aren't going to be social media influencers. But I mean, most people aren't going to be crypto millionaires. It's not going to
Right.
happen. But we all think we like all like. There's always some get rich quick thing. Why you think niggas still? Why you think people was mad at Biden for extending the statute of limitations with the PPP loan fraud stuff? People
Mm.
were mad as hell at Biden. Like, damn, bro, you can't just let us take this money, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, no, nigga,
Right.
go
Just
to
let me
jail.
have it.
You defrauded the government. You said you had a business. Your business is
You
sleeping in
don't.
your mom's basement. Go to jail, nigga. Like, you should go to jail. Get out of here. Like,
You're not getting
I don't see
$200.
it as a good thing. We should probably wrap it up soon. We coming on. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say sorry about that, guys. I was gonna say I'm a little pessimistic about the future, like Ty is. C- Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Oh, I'm tripping. I've been muting my mic, and I guess I had it on mute. But I was gonna say is I'm kind of pessimistic. I'm kind of following the same route that Ty's in because unless we address the single parent household issue, unless
Mm.
we address the children out of wedlock, I would argue as well, unless we address the fathers, no fathers in the household, we have to start at home.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless we
It
get our
starts at home.
homes in order, nothing else matters, y'all. We can throw money at a community. We can throw money at a school. We can put nonprofits in these communities. We have, and Rashane will tell you, we have people who work in the community, bro. We got people who work, black folk who work in City Hall,
Right.
black folk who work in nonprofit organizations that are in the hoods. And I think that the work that they do is beautiful and it's
Mm-hmm.
meaningful. But if that
Mm-hmm.
change is not happening at home, and parents are expecting other adults to raise their kids or
Right.
to steer them in the right
Step the
direction,
bottle.
it's
Right.
not going to happen, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Teachers are already quitting. Retention rate for teachers across the country is ridiculously low. People are just quitting because people don't, we're not getting paid. We're getting paid crap to be a
Right.
parent, a counselor, a mentor, everything, a
Right.
teacher, like everything to these kids because their
Mm-hmm.
parents aren't stepping up. So that's where I'm at. And because I see the living situations of people and how it's like unless you got to have two solid parents trying to work it out. You got people having babies and breaking up over stupid shit.
Right.
You got people's having babies and not stepping up to duty, which is like, all right, you created a child now, so now it's your responsibility. People neglecting their responsibilities, tossing their kids on society. Like as long as this keeps happening,
Right.
bro, I don't see anything getting better. It has to start from our homes, bro.
And for me, the issue is we don't acknowledge it as a
I
group. Like,
agree.
so there are certain pockets of us, like you mentioned, Richard. There are certain pockets of us who will say, hey, you know what, we have these problems, right? But the majority of the population, nobody thinks that single moms is a problem in the black community. Like most people don't. Most people are like, okay, cool.
They
You
just
see,
accept it.
they just accept it. It's like, okay, cool. Like they celebrate it. It's like, hey, you see a chick pop up, third kid, third baby dad. You know what I mean? She's on Instagram, and you're congratulating her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Every you look at
True.
her comments, they're like, oh my god, girl, you glowing. Oh my
I
god, this and
know.
that. Ain't
It's
no
true.
no dude in sight.
No dude in the
No
pictures,
dude
no
in
dude in
picture.
the maternity pictures, and you're like, where?
No
And if you,
mention, no
and
handle in the comments,
right,
nothing.
right. And my gut reaction is always to be like, oh, congratulations. Well, when is the marriage? But to ask that, whew, that
Ooh,
opens up,
stop
right?
it.
Because my mind is like, okay, you're pregnant
Playing.
with this child. Is there going to be a wedding? Like, are y'all going to seal the knot? Because you already gave the highest honor you can give a man, which is basically giving him your womb. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
when's the marriage going to happen? And then, but that question now is so problematic. You can't ask that anymore
Right.
It's
because you just,
taboo.
yeah, you can't even ask that, bro, because they get offended. But yeah, they throw baby showers for single moms, and it's like, why are we celebrating this, man? Like,
There's gonna
yeah,
be a slither of us as black people that's gonna make these moves. I mean, and that benefit us, and that's
hmm
gonna be that. But as a group,
right.
bruh,
And you can just tell,
that's
bro.
a rat. Like
You can
that's
just tell already those who are different though, because Rashane will tell you we in zombie land now temporarily, because we won this house in near K&A, Cousin Said in Allegheny. We're like at the heart of the fentanyl epidemic, like we're here just enduring this for now because we won this house into a case and we don't have to pay rent, which is lovely, but we live in zombie land. But when we're here, Rashane will tell you people know that we don't belong in this neighborhood, bro.
right,
We
right,
walk past and people telling my wife, "What you doing around here? You ain't
You
from
don't
around
know
here."
what you doing around
You lost? Like we
here.
walk around and people are like, we look clean, we
where's your
dress
blunt? Where's your
nice,
blunt at? Where's the
we don't
where's the
look
crack?
crazy. You know what I mean? We ain't got needle marks all up our
Right,
arms. Rashane don't like she trying to sell some shit to somebody. Like we look like we stick out like sore thumbs, bro,
right.
because you can just tell it's just a vibe of people who are, even if you're in poverty, it's also a mentality. And we don't have that mentality because we're like, we're here
100%.
temporarily. Like we're
It's a
not stuck here.
mentality.
We will be out of here. Like we have plans to get the hell out of here. We don't want to associate with some of these people here. We don't want to act like the people here. We're not going to litter just because there's trash everywhere. We're not going to contribute to it. Like we carry ourselves, we have a higher expectation for ourselves. And that
100%.
shows, bro. It's just
Right.
the energy that you feel from people. That, even in Zombieland, when I walk past other people, I'm like, oh, they nice. I'm like, she don't belong around here. Oh, he ain't from around here. Or like he, you know what I mean? Like you just know, like, oh, he, I hate to say one of the good ones because there's a lot of good ones around here. Some of them just don't know any better. But that mindset where like he's
Yeah,
one of the good
yeah.
ones around here. Like he about to be out of here soon.
I
We're
used to get
those
that all the
people,
time
bro.
growing up. They're like, "Oh, you ain't? Oh,
Yeah,
y'all from Philly? Like, you
right,
from Philly?" I'm like,
And
right.
it started in our homes with the
And it
way
started in our homes,
right,
right?
yeah.
Exactly. That was my exactly. And we've always said this before. Time we're gonna wrap this up, but like, no matter where you came from, there's always somebody in your neighborhood who grew up in the same block, went to the same schools, who made a better decision.
hmm
Choice.
Why? And we were those people. You know what I mean? Like Ty, you were that person. I was definitely that. I was 7 for 100, 7 for Erie, bro, Hunting Park. You know what I mean? We went to the same shitty high schools, and I still decided to make better choices.
right,
And some of that my biggest influence was that I had two parents in my household, not my mom and my dad, but I had my grandma and my grandpa,
right.
and they were married and they were together and they raised me for the
That's
most
good.
part.
Mm.
And so I had at least two parents who cared, bro, and taught me something. It started at home. It starts at home, bro, because it starts at home. That's where it starts.
Yeah, I don't know. You know that.
Do we want to give any final thoughts? Like anybody? I mean, I guess Ty, if you want to some final thoughts, and then Rush, if you have any
I'll just say
final
something
thoughts
quick,
about
right?
this.
You can wrap it up if you want, but like I'll just say something real quick.
Well,
So
yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's like I said, I think I think we're pretty far gone now, and I think it's only gonna get better. I don't like I said, but listen, I kind of lost it when I saw what people that who I was close to, right, who got PPP money and all that. Bro, I knew a dude who got like 30 grand and just bought like a car and like a diamond Jesus chain and just like stayed in the basement of his mom crib, bro. He had like 30 grand, like straight up. He got like 30 grand. I'm like, bro, you could have bought a house.
Could have bought a house.
You could have bought a
Yeah.
house. And he was just like, ah, no, I'm
Could have
cool.
bought a house.
I'll get another 30 grand somewhere else, nigga. You ain't getting no more thirty
What,
grand.
bruh?
It was it
You
was very
will.
strange, bro. I'm sitting
Okay.
there like, yo, like we
You
just
could have put 15 down on the house, put 15 on that to renovate it or furnish it, and be chilling, bruh.
I think I lost like, and I'm still cool with him. I mean, don't get me wrong, but like I lost faith. Like everybody, when I came back around my neighborhood, got haircuts or whatever. I seen chicks I saw you start walking around with new asses. I'm like, bro, we just do crazy stuff with our money, bro. Like it's just we just do like I
Living
said.
for
The only thing
today.
I could say is, listen, I have kids. I'll teach my kids different, and you
Right.
know what I mean. There are people in my family that I can't reach. You know what I mean. There are people like this. They're like, hey, like they ain't got no money, but when they get money, that shit is going like that. Like you ever? I'm not even gonna go there, but listen, my philosophy: take my little ones, make them grow into some productive citizens, and everybody else,
Right.
y'all, good luck, man. Hopefully, y'all keep y'all moms and dads raise y'all well. Well, your dad's not around, but your moms raise y'all well, and I hope for the best. But I don't have much faith or like I don't see a bright spot in our culture as far as
That's sad.
moving forward. I really don't.
Well, I'll be the counterpoint to that. I do. For some strange reason, I do still have faith. Um, it's a little tiny little seed of faith, but
Uh,
it's there. Um, I believe that we have the capabilities to change and improve. Whether or not that's actually going to happen, I don't know. But I think what you said is the key. Focus on those around you, take care of the people you love, bring them with you into the future, and teach them how to build something from what they have, and hope that people will follow the example, and hope that like we reach some sort of critical mass where it's more of us doing that than the other. I don't know, but time will tell. It always does. Truth will out. So just stay off the red carpet. No bonnets outside the house. Throw your trash in the
Eh,
trash can and save the adult music for when the kids go to sleep.
Right.
All right. Well, I have nothing else to share. We will continue talking about the culture because the culture will continue changing. So expect this to be a series. Ty, thank you for bringing up the topic and bringing it back. Like, I'm glad we're still talking about this. Subscribers, new members, anybody else, hit like and subscribe. Follow the channel. We're getting our subscriptions up. We're getting our views up.
We
We're
are,
trying to
bro.
gain
We
more
really are.
momentum. We are. We're engaging on TikTok, on different platforms. Like, we're trying to get there. It's up and running. We're trying to have more panels. We like to have different perspectives and different people come on our show. So, Rashane, thank you so much for coming out. We hope to see you again in the future.
Thank
Yeah,
you
we
for
need you
having
You were a
for
me
sure.
great
on.
guest tonight. And With that said, I will like and subscribe, please, and we will check you out next time on No Picks Podcast, y'all.
All right, check y'all. All right.
Night.